Hello. Hello. Hello, Doris.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Em聽到我把聲啊？
聽到，我呢度 OK 啊嘛？
係啊，OK。因為我唔諗住戴嗰個耳筒咧，戴耳筒有兩條線扯住，唔好睇。
係知道。我整一整嗰個 background 先。
好啊。
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Agnes.
Yeah. Hello.
I just want to double check is your guest of honor is Mr. Fan Bin Dam. Did I correct it that pronounced correctly?
You asking my name?
Huh?
You asking about my name?
Yes.
It's called. You can call me Bing.
Bing. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Agnes.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Gian is a little bit dark. You have to have some
Yes,
light on
I will turn on the light. You see me now?
Yes, we're clear now. Outside is a bit, Hong Kong today weather is a bit gloomy. That's why I have to put on my headlights on. I'll switch it off, see how it goes.
Anh Bình ơi, anh check phần chat cho em nhá.
If it's too dark, it seems that, okay.
Linh em gửi cho chị cái hình nền Linh hoặc là
Hello, Grace.
gửi cho chị cái hình nền.
Hay à.
Vâng. Em gửi qua
Hay
Zalo
咩?
chị.
I see. 咁點算咧？
Zalo nhé.
咁我OK. OK.
Good morning, everyone. The program will start in a few minutes, so please make sure that your network connection is stable during the seminar. To ensure the quality of the seminar, the organizers hope that you will turn off the mic when the guests are talking. If you have any questions to discuss, please press the buttons raise hand or send a message to the chat box. We will send it to the speaker. Thank you. Greeting, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Trần Diệu Linh, event coordinators of Vietnam Software and IT Services Association, VNASA. Today, it is my honor to be a coordinator for the seminar. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to say thank you for your time to participate in the online seminar, Hong Kong and Vietnam ICT Landscape and Opportunities, with the purpose of connecting business between Vietnam and Hong Kong in the ICT field. In this event, VNASA together with Hong Kong Computer Society, in coordination with Hong Kong Trade and Development Councils to support Vietnam company to do business within Hong Kong market. First of all, I would like to introduce all the participants of this event. We invite you to press applause icon or send a series of hi to greeting I'm so sorry. My connection is not really stable. So, okay. I would like to introduce all the participants for this event. We invite you to press applause icon or send a series of number 2, meaning greeting to the discussion guest. From Vietnam, I would like to welcome Mr. Phạm Bình Đàm. He's a Consulate General of SR Vietnam in Hong Kong. Dr. Nguyễn Thành Tuyên, Deputy Director General of Information Technology Department, Ministry of Information and Communication. Mr. Lê Vinh Nguyễn, CEO of FPT Greater Bay Indochina. And Mr. Saka Kivara, former NEC Solution Innovators Limited Vietnam Offshore Promoter, Japan. Thank you. From Hong Kong, I would like to welcome Dr. David Chung, GP, Under Secretary for Innovation and Technology Bureau, the government of HK SIR. Miss Agnes Mark, HGP, Distinguished Fellow and Past President, Hong Kong Computer Society. Miss Doris Fong, Economics Asia and Emerging Markets Research Team, Research Department, Hong Kong Trade Development Council. Mr. Arvin Lee, CEO of Armitage Technology Limited and Chairman of ISIA. And Mr. Bill Chang, Deputy CEO and CTO International Transport Information System Limited. From VINASA, please welcome Ms. Nguyễn Thị Thu Giang, Vice Chairwoman, cum General Secretary of VINASA. And the seminar today might last up to 2 hours with 2 sections, including the information market in both Vietnam and Hong Kong ICT industry. After that, we will have the Q&A sections. Besides this seminar, all the audience can visit the landing page of this event to view Vietnamese companies' profile, online booths, and directly connect them via live chat included. Or you can register business matching with us, and we would like to connect you and find the suitable Vietnamese partner to Hong Kong company. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin the webinar, I would like to invite Ms. Nguyễn Thị Thu Giang, Vice Chairwoman and General Secretary of VINASA to give an opening remark. Please welcome Ms. Nguyễn Thị Thu Giang.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. My name is Giang, and today VINASA, HKCS, and ISIA are co-organized this seminar on Vietnam-Hong Kong IT cooperation. And this is the first time we organize these activities. So on behalf of the organizers, I would like to thank you very much and welcome to the seminar. And I hope that in 2 hours of the seminar, you will have updated information about Vietnam and Hong Kong ICT industry, market, and cooperation opportunities and experiences. And more. I really hope that from this program, many cooperations between Vietnam and Hong Kong companies will be created. As you may know, Vietnam IT industry in 2020 has a revenue of 120 billion US dollar, take out 14.3% of GDP, and it is now the biggest industry in Vietnam. Among that, software revenue is more than 11 billion US dollar. So with big market of more than 97 million population and nearly 300,000 software engineers, Vietnam has a really big advantage in cooperation with Hong Kong partners. And we also know that Hong Kong is a very dynamic economy, and Hong Kong also have a lot of IT solutions or technology, very advanced. So I really hope that from this seminar, we can understand each other, we can understand the market, the opportunities, and start with some kind of cooperation. And yeah, not only this year, we really hope that we can organize this event in many years to come. And also on this occasion, I would like to thank our co-organizer, Hong Kong Computer Society, ISIA, Cyberport, HKPC, HKTDC, Invest Hong Kong, and HKBAV, and moreover, the Vietnam Trade Embassy and Consulate of Vietnam in Hong Kong to support VINASA and the co-organizer to organize this event. Then I really hope that you will enjoy this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen Thị Thu Giang. And now I would like to invite Ms. Agnes Mark, GP Distinguished Fellow and past President, Hong Kong Computer Society.
Good morning, Mr. Phan Binh Tam, Dr. David Jong, Ms. Jang, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. A very warm welcome to this seminar on Hong Kong and Vietnam ICT landscape and opportunities. I believe this is the first virtual forum dedicated to ICT policy and business opportunities for Hong Kong and Vietnam. It is hosted by VINASA, the preeminent Vietnam ICT Trade Association, and co-hosted by Hong Kong Computer Society, which is the most respected ICT professional organization in Hong Kong. VINASA and the HACS, in fact, are very old friends and regional partners. Being executive committee members of the APICTA, the Asia Pacific ICT Alliance, which organizes the annual Asia Pacific ICT Awards, regarded as the Oscar of ICT Awards, where local ICT awards winners from its 17 member economies compete for international honors and recognition. You will be aware that Vietnam and Hong Kong are all among the most dynamic and fast-growing economies in Asia Pacific, and notably with mutually complementary demand and supply in our economic needs, and thereby great opportunities for pertinent technology solution. Today, at this dedicated forum, established ICT products and services providers, as well as ICT entrepreneurs and startups, we are provided with information on a single and relevant objective, which is how to do successful ICT business in the two economies. Participants will learn of the government policies, the creative incentive schemes, the viable business landscape, and technology infrastructure to make you successful in exploring and exploiting ICT business opportunities in both economies. And for your confidence assurance, we have in this forum demonstrate success story of ICT business ventures and collaboration in our two economies. Now, before this forum gets underway, may I extend my appreciation for their participation to both our guests of honor, Dr. David Jong and Mr. Phan, and to our distinguished speakers from both economies. And also our thanks to the Secretariat of both VINASA and HACS and the preparation and delivery of this forum. And of course, a big thank you to all delegates for attending this forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Agnes Mark. To continue, Dr. David Chung, Under Secretary for Innovation and Technology Bureau, Hong Kong government is going to give a welcome speech. Please welcome him.
Thank you. Good morning. Agnes, Council General Pham, Ms. Hai, and distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Hong Kong Commerce Society and Vanessa for the invitation. And I myself is also a Hong Kong Commerce Society long-time member. So it's really a great honor to speak at today's forum. According to the recent study by the IDC, almost 70% of Hong Kong organizations that were spurred by COVID-19 pandemic will accelerate the growth in digitalizations. And around 55% of business decision makers in Hong Kong say that innovation is now a must for effective response to the market challenge and opportunities, and to ensure business resilience as they recover from COVID-19 fallout. And ITB actually stepped up to implement a number of schemes, including the Stay Home Safe application with electronic wristband to ensure home quarantine measures. The Live Home Safe apps provide citizens a convenient digital tools to record their visit history themselves. And during the pandemic last year, we also launched the Deep Business Program with Hong Kong dollar 1.9 billion to support enterprises to continue to operate and provide services using digital solutions under this new norm. The Deep Business Program received overwhelming response. Total number, we have over 38,000 applications from 32,000 companies with over 90% acceptance rates, of which 95% of them were SMEs. And Hong Kong being a global financial center with world-class digital infrastructure, we make sure that we can have a clear strategy to drive city digital transformation. And that's why we published the Hong Kong Smart City Blueprint 2.0 last year to further promote the development of smart city. In the coming years, we will continue to strengthen existing work and introduce new financial technology measures, including conducting research on fintech topics to explore development opportunities, technical infrastructure such as IM Smart platform and faster payment systems in financial services. And by the way, the IM Smart is the digital identity. This is a single platform that we use it to, as well as the EC form filling functions, as well as an EEKYC platform for personalized digital government services that pre-filled government electronic form. And I also want to take advantage of this time to share with you the China National Innovation Plan. The recent published the China 14 5-year plan indicate clear support for Hong Kong development into an international innovation and technology hub, as well as taking forward the development of Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area, that's the GBA. First time, the Shenzhen Hong Kong Loop is included as the major platform of collaboration in the GBA. All this fully demonstrates the central government unwavering support for Hong Kong INT development. Hong Kong will make good use of the unique advantage under the one country, two systems as its solid science and technology foundation to seize opportunity into this national development and to participate in domestic and international dual circulations and continue to leverage its strength to serve the country's needs. The ITB Bureau is working at full steam to take forward the relevant work, including the joint development of Shenzhen Hong Kong Innovation and Cooperation Zone. And under this one country, two systems. We also have the flagship INT project, the Hong Kong Research Cluster, to further consolidate Hong Kong position as the global research collaboration hub and to facilitate the cross-boundary exchange of innovative elements. And in my speech later, I'm sure you can see more of the details as I will explain more about the Hong Kong ICT policy and strategy and a number of incentive programs to promote cross-border collaboration. Especially, I will take this advantage to congratulate Hong Kong Computer Society and also Vanessa to take advantage of this forum to let industry players to collaborate under this new norm. Again, thank you for listening, and I wish you all have a successful event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your sharing about Hong Kong ICT industry. And next, please welcome Mr. Phạm Bình Đàm, Head of Consulate General of the SCR in Vietnam for his welcome speech.
Thank you very much, Dr. David Chung, Ms. Agnes Mark, Ms. Nguyễn Thu Giang. My great pleasure to join you at this seminar, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to address this important seminar, which I believe is timely, and I'm sure it will be a great success. As you may know, the cooperation between Vietnam and Hong Kong is wide-ranging, covering all important economic sectors. And Vietnam is not a strange destination to the Hong Kong businesses and investors. In fact, Vietnam is the fifth largest, Hong Kong is the fifth largest investor in Vietnam. So we have been doing lots of business, and we have been receiving significant investment from Hong Kong. The Vietnam businesses have been reaching out to Hong Kong, but mainly in trade areas. That means there's ample room for expansion and for further exploitation. And there's some areas that have just been barely touched upon or exploited, and information technology is a case in point. And at this seminar, which is the first one, I believe, we can share the policy framework, we can make recommendations, and we can also interact among businesses to find opportunities, which is wonderful and meaningful. Hong Kong has been pursuing the reindustrialization and is striving to become a tech hub. While in Vietnam, it has been a very fast-growing economy. And in some areas, particularly digitalization, e-commerce, fintech, we have been witnessing breathtaking development. Therefore, there's a lot of technology, a lot of opportunities for us to explore and to join cooperation. And Vietnam, as we have listened to the previous speakers, have a large workforce in the IT sector. We have been exporting both hardware and software to many countries, including North America, Europe, Japan, India even. So there's no reason why Vietnam and Hong Kong do not enjoy a significant cooperation in this ICT sector. So the seminar is taking place at the right time, and it will open up many opportunities, and it will help us, both the policymakers and businesses, to establish connections and explore different opportunities. So I really look forward to the further meaningful development and growth of the cooperation between Vietnam and Hong Kong in this important sector. And I look forward to joining the signing ceremony of a business contract. Thank you all, and I wish you every success.
Thank you, Mr. Phạm Bình Đàm. So the seminar moved to the section 1. To start, To start with our first presentations, I would like to introduce Mr. Đỗ Thanh Bình, representative from Vinasa, to present us an overview of Vietnamese ICT industry and cooperation opportunity. Please welcome Mr. Đỗ Thanh Bình.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Binh from Vinasa. So to begin my presentation today, I would like to invite you to watch a video on overview of Vietnam ICT industry. I hope you enjoy the video. Located in the heart of Southeast Asia, an emerging market with more than 600 million population, Vietnam is considered as one of the dynamic and fastest growing countries all over the world. IT industry is regarded as an important infrastructure and one of the biggest driving factors to the development of Vietnam.
According to the Ministry of Information and Communications report, in 2020, Vietnamese ICT revenue approximated $120 billion and would reach $131 billion at the end of 2021. The hardware industry reported $107 billion and the software and IT services industry reached $13 billion. The annual growth rate ranges between 15% and 20%, 3 times higher than the growth rate of GDP. There are about 47,000 IT enterprises with 1.03 million employees, including 250,000 software engineers. Currently, Vietnam has 149 universities, 412 IT vocational schools, providing more than 62,000 technologies engineers annually, and spending much effort for the target of 1 million software engineers. IT is now having a special focus by the Vietnamese government and considered as a crucial infrastructure of all other infrastructures, a driving force for socio-economic development, particularly from 2021 to 2030, the period of national comprehensive digital transformation.
Vietnam has a developed telecommunication infrastructure with 1 million kilometer bandwidth, covering to 100% commutes throughout the country, connecting with 7 international fiber optic cables. Vietnam, together with Singapore, are the first 2 countries that launched commercial 5G system in Southeast Asia. Vietnam has over 140 million mobile phone subscribers and is among the world's top 20 countries of highest number of internet users and top 10 countries having cheapest internet costs in the world.
Vietnamese IT businesses presently account for 80% of domestic market, providing solutions and services for both government and private sector. Export of IT services takes 40% of software revenues, with 3 main targeted markets of the USA, Japan, and European countries. It is now fast expanding, providing services for Korea, Chinese Taipei, and Australia. Besides traditional services like coding and testing, cooperation on system design, R&D, using new technologies such as AI, cloud, big data, IoT, blockchain, VR/AR are rising fast.
According to the Australian Trade and Commerce Report, Vietnam is ranked the 3rd in the Southeast Asia on startups market with 3,000 enterprises, top 20 economies driven by startups. Number of startups supporting organizations are also increasing quickly, with 23 business promotion organizations, nearly 50 incubators, 40 venture investment funds, and over 170 co-working spaces.
E-commerce and fintech are 2 fast-growing areas, attracting leading startups and investment capital in the region. In 2020, the Vietnamese e-commerce market grew 18% to $11.8 billion in revenue. Meanwhile, the number of fintech companies in Vietnam increased nearly 4 times over that of 2016, reporting approximately $9 billion from 150 businesses. Startups are encouraged in agriculture, tourism, medical, and education.
In June 2020, the Prime Minister of Vietnam approved the National Digital Transformation Program to the year 2025 with orientation to 2030 with three main pillars: digital government, digital economy, and digital society. Targets by 2030, 80% of top-level online public services, 100% of national databases are integrated on e-government platforms. Digital economy accounts for 20% of GDP. Top 50 Global Competitiveness Index, GCI. Top 35 Global Innovation Index, GII. Universalizing smartphones for people to access online services. Currently, digital transformation is being mentioned everywhere in Vietnam. Vietnamese businesses ranging from SMEs to big corporations are focusing on investing heavily in the application of digital technologies to create competitive advantages. Meanwhile, the government is making great strides in building a digital government with a series of national databases being established, and the proportion of online public services has increased rapidly. Vietnam is currently ranked 86th in the e-government and the top 25 Global Cybersecurity Index, GCI. More than 40 provinces in Vietnam are carrying out their smart cities building plan.
In recent years, Vietnam has always been in the top 10 most attractive countries for providing IT services in the world. Vietnam is also the second largest IT trusted partner of Japanese and enterprises. Vietnam is being evaluated as the #1 destination for shifting of the global supply chain. Foxconn, Wistron, Luxshare, Pegatron, which are the vendors of Apple, Sony, Google, Microsoft, the world's largest technology corporation, have chosen Vietnam to build their manufacturing factories. Besides, Vietnam is also emerging as a technology R&D center of the world. Samsung invests $200 million R&D center targeted to reach 3,000 engineers by 2022. Qualcomm introduced their first ASEAN R&D center in Hanoi. Grab has an operations center in Ho Chi Minh City. LG, Panasonic, Toshiba are also completing their R&D centers in Vietnam. Vietnam has advantages in large number of technology enterprises, up to 47,000 companies and rising rapidly. Besides, Vietnam also has an abundant IT human resources of 250,000 software engineers who are highly qualified, especially in new technologies such as AI, big data, cloud, IoT. According to HackerBank, Vietnamese programmers are ranked second among ASEAN countries and 23rd in the top 50 countries with the best programmers in the world. Vietnamese IT engineers are among the first and rare to receive Google's Advanced TensorFlow AI certification and GE Predix IoT certification. Universities and training centers are also making great efforts to target to become the center of AI human resources and R&D in the region and the world.
Okay, so you have watched a video on the overview of Vietnam ICT industry. So now I will move into the next part, which is the potential collaboration between Vietnam and Hong Kong ICT companies. So you may already knew that Vietnam has highly skilled and motivated labor force, and we are also considered to have a politically stable and fast-growing economy. And Vietnam stands the top 3 fastest growing telecommunication market in Asia. And actually we are standing in the 3rd rank. And Vietnam is also considered to have an ideal destination for startups. So here's what the world is talking about Vietnam. ATKNE said that Vietnam stands at the #5, the most attractive global service location in the world. Gartner recognizes the Tier 1 emerging offshore outsourcing location in APAC, and
Alonso also said that Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi are among the top 20 emerging global outsourcing cities. Here you can see the total internet users in Southeast Asia from the year 2015 to 2020. So in 4 years from 2015 to 2019, the number rises 100 million. But in just 1 year from 2019 to 2020, the number rises like 40 million. So you can see that this is a inevitable trend in Southeast Asia. So that is in Southeast Asia. What about in Vietnam? With a population of about 97.75% of 97.75 million people, we are now having about 154.4 million mobile phone subscribers, with the internet users of about 68.72 million, and active social media user is about 72 million. So from these figures, you can see that Vietnam is a great market, is a potential market for developing the online products and services. Here is the IT labor force of Vietnam. So at the end of 2020, Vietnam has about 1,030,000 IT employees, including 250,000 software engineers. So this can tell that Vietnam is really ready for collaboration between foreign countries and Vietnam. Here you can see the average salary for technology platforms for selected position from 1.5 to 3 years of experience, from the very high position like CIO, CTO to technical support or help desk. So you can see that the salary is really competitive compared to other countries in the region and in the world. Here is the average monthly salary of software engineers in selected countries. Actually, this is the survey that VNASA conducted in 2015, but I think that the number is still true today. So from the graph, you can see that Vietnam has a very competitive monthly salary compared to other countries in the region like Thailand, Malaysia, Japan, or Korea, or even Hong Kong. Now we'll talk about some trends and movements in Vietnam ICT industry. Actually, there are three. First of all, digital transformation. Next, smart cities and new technologies, especially AI. So you can see from my videos that you just heard about, Vietnamese government is paying a lot of attention to the ICT industry and is giving out a lot of incentives for this industry, especially in the tax exemption and reduction. So you will receive a lot of support from the government in like import or export tax rate or preferential tax rate, tax in the software part or personal income tax. Specifically in software development, you will have to pay zero tax for the first 4 years. And in the next 5 years, since having taxable income, you will only have to pay 10% corporate tax. This is really competitive compared to the 25% corporate tax in other industry. And we also have very preferential personal income tax for people that are working in the software industry. Especially in recent years, the government is piloting and deploying a lot of sandbox for the ICT industry, especially in mobile money, which has been piloted at the end of 2020. So we know that Hong Kong is one of the fastest emerging economies in Asia and in the world. So we assume that we may have a lot of great cooperation opportunities. So here's what Vietnam is needing nowadays. First of all, we need product solution to develop e-government so we can move toward digital government in near future. We need to develop digital transformation in both private and public sectors. We need products and solutions to develop smart cities. And last but not least, we need training human resources in new technologies. And here are some opportunities that Hong Kong can take advantage when to cooperate with Vietnamese ICT businesses. First, you can take advantage of the talented human resource in Vietnam, which I said before, very competitive in price and very talented and well-educated. You can also enjoy the incentives from the government about the tax exemption and reduction. And you can also accelerate businesses in a big market in Vietnam with a population of over 97 million people. And here are also some potential cooperation scopes. You can take advantage of the human resources of Vietnam. You can, train human in new technology trends like AI, IoT, blockchain, etc. We can cooperate to develop web and mobile apps. And if you want to outsource your work to Vietnam, it is a good idea. You can also distribute your products to Vietnam, which is a very potential market. And also you can develop some kind of research and development center in Vietnam. So here I want to give you a brief information about VNASA, Vietnam Software and IT Service Association. So VNASA is a non-government and non-profit organization established in 2002 with over 450 members nowadays, accounting for 70% of revenue of the industry and 65% of the workforce of the industry. And VNASA served the role of the bridge between the government and the businesses, between the domestic businesses and between domestic businesses and the foreign businesses. So we are currently deploying and taking role a lot of activities like business development services, training, HR development, promotion, PR and marketing, business investment, consulting and researching, support, accelerate startup, VNASA Connect, research, promote for technology application, policy consulting, building and lobbying. So if you want to get information about Vietnamese ICT industry, like about the human resources, about the current trend in Vietnam, about how to expand the business in Vietnam, we VNASA would be very happy and ready to support you with those information. And that is what I want to say. Thank you very much for your listening and attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nguyễn Đỗ Thanh Bình. And I believe that the Hong Kong audience have a wonderful information about the Vietnamese ICT industry from your presentation. Next, may we now invite Dr. Nguyễn Thành Tuyên, Deputy Director General of Information Technology Department from Ministry of Information and Communications. Please welcome Dr. Nguyễn Thành Tuyên.
Good morning. Very good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank VNASA for inviting me to this seminar. I'm Nguyễn Thanh Tuyên, Deputy Director General of the Department of ICT of the Ministry of Information and Communications of Vietnam. Our department is in charge of IT industry promotions. So in my slides, the next 10 minutes, I would like to share with you some information about the Vietnam ICT outlooks and about the policy of the Vietnam. Okay, I would like to share screen. Okay. Good. Well, Link, could you please help me to share screen?
Okay. It's okay now, Mr. Tuyên. You can share now.
Okay, and share. Okay. So let me just a moment. Okay. So I don't know how to share this.
You click the share screen button at the bottom.
Okay, share. Okay, share.
Okay.
Okay, can you see me? Okay.
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. So okay. So first, I would like to answer the question with Vietnam is a small or big. In the presentations of Mr. Du Thanh Binh, you have seen some information about Vietnam. Vietnam has the population ranked number 15 of the world, with almost 100 million people. The land area about 331,000 kilometers square, but the sea surface area is much larger, about 1 million kilometers square. And Vietnam City West in the most crowded and most active ocean routes and airlines of the world. You can see from the map on the left upper, it's the ship routes, and the lower part is the airlines. And Vietnam enjoy many free trade agreements, such as the CPTPP, the Vietnam Europe FTA, US BTA, RCEP, with ASEAN and big economies that allow companies that works in Vietnam can access to a very enormous free trade zone of 5 billion people. Vietnam's at the moment is the global top 10 in ICT. We are at top 2 of cell phone export in 2019. We account for 13% of the global market, and number 9 of electronic circuits, and number 7 of video game, number 9 in IT outsourcing, and number 5 in software outsourcing. About the industry, we move very fast in the recent year. We surpassed by very big country in ICT area, such as India, Brazil, Indonesia, Thailand, Italy, Hong Kong. So we our the revenue of the 2020 was about 123 billion US dollar. And the hardware revenue is 110 billion dollar, software about 5.4 billion. Digital content revenue was almost 1 billion. IT service about 7 billion, and we export about 80 billion dollars of hardware and we export about 95.8 billion US dollar and import about 80 billion dollars. We have at the moment about 58,000 digital companies. And about human resource, as Mr. Binh said, that at the moment you have about more than 1 million people who are working in the ICT area, and they are very young, very talented in IT. And each year, about 50,000 newly graduates from 158 universities and 442 vocational colleges. The salary is very competitive, so I don't want to mention. Well, you have seen in Bing's slide previously. And in here, the map I want to prepare for you. You can see the map of Vietnam. So we have at the moment about 3 high-tech parks, Hoa Lạc high-tech park in the north, Da Nang in the center, and Saigon in the south. We have 6 IT parks, 2 in Hanoi, 1 in Ho Chi Minh City, 1 in Cần Thơ, and 1 in Huế. And we have many big API IT companies such as Samsung in Bắc Ninh and Bắc Giang, Pegatron that work for Apple and Microsoft in Hải Phòng. We have Canon in Hanoi, have Intel in Ho Chi Minh City, and so on. You also have a very big domestic company like Viettel, FPT, VNPT, and so on. So at the moment, you have 8 provinces with ICT revenue over $1 billion that concentrate in the north, near Hanoi, in the center near Da Nang, and in the south surrounding Ho Chi Minh City. I would like to brief you about the ICT industry in the COVID-19 recently. Last year, Vietnam was one of the very few countries in the world that successfully controlled the corona epidemic. and got positive GDP growth. This year, we are confronting with the new corona outbreaks, and with great effort, the northern provinces, where industrial zone with the big API IT companies successfully control the COVID spread and maintaining product growth. So in the last 6 months, the growth in the IT area is 18.1%. It's very high. And in the south now, we are trying to confronting with the virus and want to make it to become new normalized soon. So about the ICT development strategy, so we at the moment we are prepare very important program strategy for the IT in the next 5 and 10 years. We are drafting the program on ICT of Vietnam by 2025. So we target to make it into one of the biggest economy sector and fastest sector of the economy. And we also want to master new digital technology to solve the problem of Vietnam and the world. And we target to make it from 6 to 6.5% of the GDP. And we target to about 70,000 ICT company. And we wish to have a big IT firm and big 10 provinces. And we focus on the 6 strategic thrusts about the digital industry development, about digital product development, about R&D, about human resource development, and market development. And we focus on the role, very proactive role of the provinces. And lastly, we focus on about communication and propaganda, such as an event like this that Venus conducted today. So we want to show up Vietnam to the world. So lastly, about the scheme of incentive in Vietnam. So we'd like to share with you 2 things. One is for the software development, and secondly about a company working in the high-tech park and in the software park. About the software development, the law of corporate income tax specify that software products manufacturing activity were entitled to preferential tax rate of 10% for 15 years, and tax exemptions for not more than 4 years, and 50% reduction of payable tax not for than 9 years after that. And how to get this preferential tax rate? So the degree on corporate income tax specifies that the preferential tax rate of 10% for a period of 15 years apply to 1, income of enterprises from implementing new investment projects in the following field: software production, investment project, software productions, and that must satisfy 2 conditions. Product software must be in the list of software products, and the process of software productions must satisfy at least one of the 2 stages: determination of requirement stage and analysis and design stage. And for the companies, IT company who work in IT parks or high-tech parks in Vietnam, they will get some incentive. Let me come back to the slide. Okay, let's look back the slide. Okay, you can see again this map. We want to repeat that we have 3 high-tech park. One in Hoa Lạc high-tech park near Hanoi, the north of Hanoi. One Da Nang high-tech park in the center of Vietnam, and another second high-tech park in Ho Chi Minh City. And you have 6 software park or IT parks. We have 2 in Hanoi, 1 in Da Nang, 1 in Huế, 1 in Ho Chi Minh City, and 1 in Cần Thơ. And we have a series of second software park. Now we intend to establish in other provinces. So for those parks, IT park and high-tech park, there is would get the preferences, the incentive schemes as a follow. Enterprises implementing new investment projects in the field of IT and high-tech park, in the IT parks and high-tech parks are entitled to the following support and incentive from the law of IT park and the law of high-tech parks. In terms of one, enjoy the highest incentive in the accordance with the law on land, in corporate income tax, value-added tax, export tax, and import tax. Would like to say that they would get something similar to the company who work in the software project manufacturing activity. That means that you would get that the tax exemption for in the first 4 years, and 50% of the payment tax in the next 9 years, and preferential tax in the 15 years. So, and secondly, should get to be considered to for cost support from funding of the National High-Tech Park Development Program and other funds derived from the state budgets. And thirdly, should enjoy as an incentive by law, such as the trust infrastructure, land use levy, land lease or sublease of land for which investment has been built, and also for the import of equipment that were used for the productions. So would like to welcome you from Hong Kong to Vietnam to establish your business and company here so that we can work together. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Nguyễn Thanh Tuyên. And to move on, I'd like to invite Mr. Lê Vinh Nguyễn, CEO of FPT Greater Bay Indochina, to present us about the digital transformation with Vietnamese company. Please take the stage, Mr. Lê Vinh Nguyễn.
Thank you, Linh. Everyone, how's it today? I hope that you have a good time with us. So thank you, Mr. Bing and Mr. Tuyên, to introduce about Vietnam as the destination for the IT, right? So I would like to recap that Vietnam is only 1.5 hours flight from Hong Kong to Hanoi. I think it's one of the nearest flight between the two territories, right? So we FPT have the office in Hong Kong 2 years ago, and we know a bit about the Hong Kong market, and we already examined about this. So I would like to mention about what can we do together, right? So this is some information about Hong Kong. So we see nowadays that Hong Kong invests around 20 billion Hong Kong dollars to promote the technology, especially during COVID, right? And we also talk to some of the CTO and CIO of the big corporation in Hong Kong, like one of the very big banks over there. They have around 12,000 of the staff in Guangzhou, right, for the IT industry. But because of the trade war, right? So a lot of companies now recruiting the Chinese company recruiting resources for their internal use, like Huawei or Tencent, for their own purpose, right? So previously, Hong Kong established very good nearshore model with Shenzhen or Guangzhou to support the Hong Kong IT development. But nowadays, in terms of the shortage skill set in both Hong Kong onshore and also the very high cost in Shenzhen nowadays, that is the reason why FPT established the office in Hong Kong, because it's only 1.5 hour flight, and we see that we very potential if we can support the Hong Kong company over there. Right, so this is brief information about the IT professional services. Around 58% of the spending nowadays. And around 22% of the production support services like the managed services, and around 16% of the digital services. In the different industry, like the finance industry is one of the biggest, because Hong Kong and Singapore are the two biggest of the economy in Asia. And I see that Singapore, I lived in Singapore 6 years, to be honest, before I moved to Hong Kong. Right, so Singapore, when I live over there, I see that they invest a lot. Actually, they invest almost double than Hong Kong for the IT. So everything will be digitalized. And because of COVID also, so everything now, both in Hong Kong or in Vietnam, will be digitalized. We have the mobile application. We need to use the data to move the prediction or any kind of the dashboard report to for the top executive level to make any kind of decision. Because during COVID, you know, that's we need to train a lot of the decision within a year. It's not like can plan everything 3 years ahead. So we already apply our technology in the FPT, like the RPA. We our own RPA platform or our own blockchain platform or AI. Already apply for some of the company in Hong Kong. The AI example, like we apply for insurance for the underwriting process. Is one of the champion innovation award in 2019 for the one of insurance company in Hong Kong. They apply our AI to process the underwriting beside the rule engine. Right. So with this, we reduce the time for the consumer need to go to clinic and check out, and we can reduce a cost also. The blockchain also helping us for the loyalty application with them. So we can retain the customer and also provide the additional services. Right. So this is some of the, this is a source from the Zoom info, and then we find out that FPT we meet the top 5 software company if we are in Hong Kong. Right. So to be honest, we're proud to be the biggest ICT company in Southeast Asia. Right. So Vietnam has Viettel is the biggest telecom provider in Southeast Asia, and FPT is the biggest ICT company in Southeast Asia. And we found in 1988. Actually, we just celebrated the 33 birthday yesterday, and we listed in the stock market in 2006. And total employee nowadays we have more than 40,000 of the staff. And among software company in Vietnam, we I think that we are more than 20 times of the employee than the second one. So we dominate the market for the IT software. And this is some of the service offering that we offer nowadays. Right, so everybody talk about the digital transformation in for Industry 4.0, and we already did that one in 6 years ago. We have this cloud services with AWS and Azure, and we have own cloud FPT also. So RPA, FPT also have our own RPA platform. It's comparing to the UI part of Vision, but the reason why we have this, because the licensing of this provider is very expensive. And then this is also kind of the consideration for the company who want to try with automation, with the POC. So that is the one that we can offer our client to use to prove the concept rather than that concern about the money. Right, so we also establish the local platform with our system or Mendix, the top provider in the market nowadays. And with artificial intelligence, we also established one of the coastal city in Vietnam, in Quy Nhơn, is one of the biggest AI center in Vietnam, and FPT is leading with this. And we have our own FPT AI with the top, with the #1 of the AI in Vietnam at the moment, providing with the fraud detection, eKYC, nowadays graph using this for the 8 countries in Southeast Asia. And we also have the big team for the data analytics and big data. It's around more than 1,000 of the data engineers and scientists. And the Internet of Things, we also working with Siemens and GEPDs for especially for the smart manufacturing. And FPT, we also have our own Internet of Vehicle for automotive. It's a automotive buggy in our campus, and also some of the clients in Vietnam using this. As a blockchain that we also provide, have the blockchain platform to integrate with the different merchants joining the network. Previously, you know, that if you have the point for the loyalty point, you can claim with only the provider. But we provide the platform in Vietnam also, integrate, its name is UTop, integrate with other merchants joining our network. So you can train the customer data because we're using blockchain for the smart contract. We can create the private chain or public chains. And also allow the consumer to using the point and train with the different merchant for the customer experience and the customer 365. We apply also AR, VR for the HR, especially HR human resources training nowadays during the pandemic. Right, so some of the technology platform we have, and we also proud to be the partner with Airbus. We build the data lake, the Skywire platform for the Airbus to collect all the data from all the Airbus plane, and then inject the data and provide the kind of the prediction or kind of report. And the MySphere for the manufacturing, smart manufacturing. Besides this, in Vietnam, we also work with clients for the outsourcing services, like the application services, many services, UI UX designing, right? And leading by our HCIO Bluetooth in the US, we have the digital consulting services. So we can provide with the cost optimization, especially for the IT or the new business services for the business side. And FPT, we proud to be the first and the only one premier consulting partner with AWS in Southeast Asia, and Go partner with Microsoft since 1996. So besides this, we work with Skywire for Airbus for Skywire platform, our system for the low-code platform to provide the go-to-market faster. SAP for ERP, Siemens for GEPDs, Siemens and GEPDs for the IoT. Right, so this is the one that we have the digital Kaizen is the methodology of FPT-5 for the digital transformation. Right, so we have the business strategy and digital strategy. And then this is the reason we talk to the business side, like the marketing team or the business development team for the customer experience. We build the customers 365 for them and the business innovation. So in FPT, we also provide the lab that can help you provide the lab to help help the client to prove the concept within around 2 weeks to 2 months. So before we enlarge it to the real project, right? So we start from a start very smart with this idea, right? So we scale fast, and then we think about big, right? So normally we consult with the company for the overall or the company strategy with the consulting team for FPT, right? So with the IT side, normally we have the cost optimization. We go to speed and agility, especially we rely on the cloud scalability, right? So we will modernize the application to provide the different microservices for the external partner joining the selling and then the partnership. Right, so with this, we also need to transform our people beside the business and the IT transformation. We need to educate our people and with the new mindset, especially where the FPT software is. We have the campus of the FPT University, right? So that's why it helps us to train our people with the new latest technology. So FPT is proud to be the partner with the 100 top Fortune 500 clients in the world. So with the people joining us from the university, we have the chance to work with the latest technology and the top client in the world. Yeah. So one of the reasons, the case study that we work with, one of the top insurance company in Hong Kong, right? So previously, they have their own life insurance, but we help them to build the health insurance. Is also beside the life insurance. The consumer just only buy the insurance policy, and every year they will pay the installment. It's quite tedious. Actually, it's made the Vietnam subscriber quite have the, not very good view for the insurance, because they think that, okay, they do nothing, but just take my money. So we have them with the group in the few countries in Southeast Asia plus in Hong Kong to build a blockchain platform for loyalty. So we engage, we encourage our subscriber, right, to assign more to train the point with the different partner joining us. So we're taking care of them rather than just only ask them to pay the money. So we build a society, the community for them to know each other, understand about their health, encourage them to exercise more. So we have the AI symptom tracking with them, or the fitness coach also integrate with this, and then provide the exercise program, or the teleconsulting, or the health concierge. So with this, we build the customer 365 and let the customer to exercise more and then enjoy the time they buy the insurance. So this is one example that how we support the Hong Kong company to transform the business, right? Because we have abundant resources. So talking about the Skywise, right? And we have another case that we collect the data, the sensor data or the IoT data from the different airplane of the Airbus. And we ingest this kind of the data right, on the Palantir Foundry of AWS, and we provide with the different kind of the report and prediction. Another one, last but not least, we also applying the sustainability for manufacturing in Vietnam, especially we using the IoT platform for more mass, right? So with this, we provide end-to-end connectivity, especially nowadays we go to 5G, with the connectivity is not an issue inside the manufacturer. Right, so we check the live location of the tracking with the IoT and the sensor. And we provide the digital tool with the AR, VR for the training of HR department. We also have the track for the warehouse management, especially that how to optimize the stock inside the warehouse. Yeah, so my my presentation is right here. It's finished here, but I just follow up with to Bing to talk about the Vietnam and how we support the client in Hong Kong for the digital transformation and IT, especially now with the very high cost from Shenzhen and Guangzhou. Thank you very much, everyone, and hope to see you again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lê Vinh Nguyễn. And next, I would like to welcome Mr. Sakakibara, and his presentation is also the last one on the section 1. Please welcome Mr. Sakakibara with the presentations of adoption's necessity and expectations for Vietnamese IT companies. Please welcome him.
Thank you for your introduction. I'd like to thank Binasa for inviting me to speak to Hong Kong IT companies today. To be honest, I was wondering what is best to share to be helpful for everyone in Hong Kong IT companies. Please note that I can only speak from what I have experienced. Okay, let us start. That is today's context.
Can you please make the full screen of this one?
スクリーンを大きくする。That's okay. First, I'd like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Sakakibara, very difficult name for in Japan. I have been working at any solution innovator from 1983 to 2019. We have started adapting offshore development in 1995. In the beginning, it was almost 100% okay. 100% with China. Our first offshore development project in Vietnam was in 2002. Until 2019, I have been an offshore promoter in charge of Vietnam at my company. Look at this photo from about 20 years ago. Here is a nostalgic one. The time was different from now. Next, I'd like to share about the case of study of Japan adopting offshore development. Why have we started offshoring? Firstly, one of the challenges that we have faced was the issue of declining Japanese population. As you all know, the population of Asia and the world also decrease. The Japanese population is decreasing more rapidly than most of the world. The decline has already begun in 1995. This is a document from the Japanese government. We had to overcome this issue to maintain the Japanese economy. Our simple idea was that if Japan's working population would decrease in the future, it would be necessary to seek overseas human resources. Next page is a figure of the employees' age structure in Japan. Japan has a lifetime employment system. We refrain from recruiting new employees when there is a problem with the Japanese economy. For example, when the bubble busted and the Lehman shock. As a result, companies tend to have many senior employees and fewer young employees. This structure poses a cost issue. Next page is current trends of Japanese company. Comparing to the declining population issue. The working of Japanese companies is not clearly felt at this time. Many companies are trying to increase their sales. However, recruiting is very difficult, along with domestic market shrinking in size. Therefore, overseas human resources and market are what needed. Now, I'd like to address the reasons why Japanese IT companies have started offshore business with Vietnam. The cause was that in 2002, offshore business was almost 100% with China. Ordinary managers would usually consider risk diversification. And I have come up with the idea of China plus one. We have chosen Vietnam as the country is not geographically far away from Japan and has shown considerable economic growth. I'd like to skip the following page as I don't have time and it is just the situation in Japan. Next is materials from Duke University. It is a little bit old material. Of particular importance, the potentials for recruitment, innovation, and expertise. This can be found in Vietnamese companies as they are approaching their goals. In this page, I will explain the more details. Until now, the value of Vietnamese IT offshoring has been mainly low cost. The growth of Vietnamese IT companies has been remarkable in terms of both quality and delivery. And we can expect them to grow in a well-balanced manner with good potentials. Next page is about the potentials of Vietnamese IT. I have written a lot of this slide, but I will summarize the points. First is the large population of young people, the motivation for studying, the English-speaking population, of course, more than Japanese speakers. And so a gentle personality and many diligent people. Next one is about challenges for both Vietnamese IT companies side and customer side. For Vietnamese IT company, recruitment human resources with foreign language capabilities. And so enrichment of project management, overcoming realism, embrace steady growth, etc., etc. For customer, understanding that Vietnamese talents can speak English. The language is not their mother tongue. Customers need to clearly explain the rules associated with their company and work culture in advance, giving the opportunity for changes and willing to get to know how to work effectively with the Vietnamese. In conclusion, the key factor for success is to have enough communication with each other and trust the offshore partner and looking for the growth. Well, this is bringing to me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And his presentation is also the last one on the section 1. And now we are moved to section 2 with the presentations, the ICT business landscape in Hong Kong. Please welcome Ms. Doris Fong, Economics, Asian and Emerging Market Research Team, Research Department, Hong Kong TDC. Please welcome her.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Doris. I'm the economist of the Hong Kong Trade Development Council. And today I would like to give you a brief background on the ICT landscape in Hong Kong. So to start with, I would like to share with you some background on and some figures of the Hong Kong's ICT landscape. Actually, from some global ranking, we can see that Hong Kong, the Hong Kong digital side is a globally recognized digital competitive economy. For example, from the IMD World Digital Competitiveness ranking, we are the Asia's second and the world's fifth. And in the Digital Intelligence Index, we are the Asia Pacific second and the world's third place for the digital intelligence. And then in the World Intellectual Property Organization, the Global Innovation Index 2020, Hong Kong is the Southeast Asia and Oceania's third and the world's 11th. So from these rankings, we can see that Hong Kong is a globally recognized digital competitive economy. So if we look at the ICT sector in Hong Kong, the information and communication service actually account for about 12.3 billion US dollar of value added in 2019. It is around 3.5% of Hong Kong's GDP in 2019. And then for the people engaged, the latest figures is around 76,000 people engaged in information and communication services, which is around 2% of the labor force of Hong Kong. And if we look at the trade in services, we are talking about the telecommunications, computer and information services. In 2019, Hong Kong exported around 3.1 billion US dollar of the ICT services and imported 2.1 billion US dollar worth of ICT services. So we can see that Hong Kong is a net exporter of the ICT services. And if we look at the exports of the ICT services between 2012 and 2019, we can see a compound growth of 3.8% each year. And if we look at the major export markets, China is the #1 market that we export our ICT services. And the other major markets include the UK, the USA, Singapore, and also Japan. For these top five export markets account for nearly 60% of Hong Kong's ICT services exports. And if we look at the merchandise trade side, we are also a major exporter of ICT products in the world. For example, we are the #1 exporters of the electronic ICs, and then the second in computer parts and accessories, and the third in telephones and mobile phones exports. So for the ICT status, we can see that the Hong Kong government actually is pushing for the smart city developments in the city, and that create a lot of opportunities for the local ICT sector. For example, the Smart City Blueprint for Hong Kong is published by the Hong Kong government back in 2017, and it set out initiatives under 6 smart areas, namely smart mobility, smart living, smart environment, smart people, smart government, and the smart economy. For some achievements so far, we can see that in Hong Kong currently we have over 40,000 free Wi-Fi hotspots, and the household broadband penetration rate has reached 93.7%, and the mobile subscriber penetration is really high with 280 something percent, and the smartphone penetration rate is around 90%. And the smart living initiatives is still ongoing. For example, the government would like to promote Hong Kong as a Wi-Fi connected city. It will implement a pilot project for providing Wi-Fi services at welfare service units. And Hong Kong is also providing a lot of support for the healthcare area. For example, we will explore the use of telehealth, video conferencing, and remote consultation in Hong Kong, and also explore the use of blockchain technology to enhance the traceability of pharmaceutical products. So here is just name a few, and a lot of smart city and particularly the smart living initiatives is ongoing. So we can see that there is a lot of opportunities for the ICT sectors in Hong Kong. And apart from the government support, the Hong Kong's ICT businesses lies in a vibrant domestic startup ecosystems in Hong Kong. So according to Invest Hong Kong's 2020 ecosystem survey reports, we currently have a total of 3,360 startups in Hong Kong in 2020, and it represents an increase by 51% from the 2017 figures. And Hong Kong's appeal as a startup hub extends to a wide variety of industries. For example, financial technology, e-commerce, and professional services. And we can see that we have actually quite a large number of startups focused on ICT. And according to the Invest Hong Kong's figures, in 2020, we have 315 ICT startups in Hong Kong. And thank you for Libby's introduction on the Hong Kong's industry trend just now. And for now, I would just like to show you how Hong Kong entrepreneurs look at the the domestic startup ecosystem, and how they are supported from the Hong Kong's business environment, and to understand how these local startups view the Hong Kong's business environment. So Hong Kong TDC Research conducted a questionnaire survey and in-depth interviews with local startups in mid-2020 on the development and performance of domestic startup ecosystem. And the survey aims to study from the angle of local startups. So whether the existing innovation and technology measures in Hong Kong can meet the market demand. And the survey respondents were asked to rate how good Hong Kong is at supporting the domestic startup ecosystem. And we included some major startups sectors in Hong Kong, including biotech and healthcare, new retail, innovative services, new economy, and the hardware and IT sector. And we find that particularly for the hardware IT, they rated Hong Kong's domestic startup ecosystem at 6.5, which is quite a good rating here, showing that they are quite satisfied with the domestic startup ecosystem. And if we look at more details on how they rate on the social infrastructure, market accessibility, funding, and support in Hong Kong, we can see that most of the startups, including the hardware and IT startups, they rate quite a high rating for the social infrastructure, and followed by the market accessibility and the funding and support. And we look at the survey and their comments in details. We can see that the intellectual property protection mechanism is quite good from their points of views, and they rated it at a 6.76 score for the IP protection mechanism in Hong Kong. And from our interviewees, we can see that the IP documents are bilingual in English and Chinese. And from their point of view, they can apply these documents in both the local and overseas markets. And also the application fee is low, and also the procedures are simple. So the domestic startups think that the IP protection mechanism in Hong Kong is good and support their development. But then we got some we got some comments from the enterprises that the technical skills of the local workforce may be a bit lack of a bit behind the demand, because we can find a lot of business experts in Hong Kong, but then the technology talents is quite hard to find these talents in Hong Kong to support their business. But then we can see that we can see more increasing collaboration between the industry and academia. And for the past 1 or 2 years, we can see some tech enterprises, they join hands with some Hong Kong universities to nurture the ICT talents. So for this part, we can see that the technical skills of the local workforce should be improving for the future to support the ICT sector's development. And next, for the market accessibility, we can see that Hong Kong is really a trading platform, and then from which you could access the overseas markets barrier-free. The local startups, they can connect with the overseas buyers through some local incubation program run by the Science and Technology Parks and Cyberport. And then they can also participate in some overseas business mansions organized by the local organizations, such as the Hong Kong TDC, in order to keep across the latest developments in the foreign markets. And apart from the access to overseas markets, we can see that they can they rate quite a good rating on the early stage customer acquisition at 6.35 points on this. And from the comments of the local startups, Hong Kong brings together the businesses and buyers and trades from all over the world, and Hong Kong serves as a springboard for the international brands they looking to enter the Asian market. And for local startups, Hong Kong is an ideal base to test their products and services to see how the markets view their products. And actually, I heard from one biotech startup in the study that they point out that particularly for medical healthcare products and other technical products, tagging the products with made in Hong Kong label can actually help them to win the confidence of overseas customers. And last but not least is the funding and support area. We can see increasing support given by the Hong Kong government to local startups. One particular area that have gained a good rating from the local startups is the government funding availability. In Hong Kong, the Innovation and Technology Fund gives a lot of support to the local startups, and the fund covers several areas, including supporting R&D and promoting the commercialization of the R&D results, facilitating technology adoption, and also nurturing the technology talent. And I believe Mr. Chong's presentation next would show you a lot more on the government funding and support, so I'll skip it for now. And the other good rating for this for the funding and support area, we can see the collaboration with academia. Just as I mentioned, we can see a few examples of tech enterprises that join hands with the Hong Kong universities to nurture ICT talents. And also I heard from some local startups that the local universities, we can see it is a good place to test their products and also their technologies to see what's good and how they can improve for their products. And also one of the major advantage of the Hong Kong ICT sector is that we can approach to a lot of opportunities to access the mainland China market, and especially the huge GBA market. For the GBA market, we have a population of around 86 million people and a GDP of nearly $1.7 trillion US. So there is a lot of opportunities for the Hong Kong's ICT sector, and especially under the closer economic partnership arrangement between Hong Kong and the mainland. The qualified Hong Kong service suppliers are allowed to set up joint venture enterprises on mainland China, and it allows the Hong Kong service suppliers to provide various computer services and related IT services in mainland China, including data processing, software implementation, computer hardware installation, consultancy, and database services. And in fact, from our survey, we can find 43% of our survey respondents has expressed their interest in expanding further into the GBA market. And 38% were in the process of identifying business partners there. And from the survey, it shows that many local startups, they actually recognize the huge market size of the GBA market, and 45% of the respondents state that it is the most appealing element for them to enter to the GBA market. And some interviewees, they actually comment that the Hong Kong market is really in a quite small size that has hindered the growth of their business to some extent. And then because of this, they have ventured into markets outside of Hong Kong. And apart from looking towards the traditional European and American markets and emerging ASEAN markets, they have also turned to the GBA. However, there are some barriers hindering their expansion in GBA, and the primary barrier is the different institutional systems in the GBA mainland cities with Hong Kong. And 43% of the respondents said the different institutional systems, including the tax, the legal system in the GBA mainland cities, that hindered their expansion plans into the GBA. As Hong Kong companies have to devote extra resources to understanding and aligning with the mainland business practice and workflows. Sometimes the Hong Kong startups, they would put off because they do not have enough resources to do so. But then actually, if you can overcome the barriers, particularly to understand the language of the GBA market, you may find the GBA market would provide you with a huge market as well as the low cost of doing business. And I have one example of how the Hong Kong enterprise utilized the strengths of the two places. So there is a Hong Kong startups, Vfluencer. This is a social media, a enterprise running a cross-platform social media marketing analysis system. It tracks the marketing activities on major mainland social media platforms with its cross-platform system. So at first, the company Vfluencer, they focused on cultivating the Hong Kong market, but then it realized that the size of the local market was too small. And then in Hong Kong, the cost of living and the cost of doing business is quite high, that they find that the startups have high starting capital needs and also R&D costs. And after some time they working in the Hong Kong markets, they find that there are more and more overseas customers show an increasing interest entering the mainland market, and so it gradually expand into the social platform business on the mainland, and when they go to the GBA, they find that the GBA offers a huge market for them to test the appeal and the sales potential of their innovative services in the GBA. But then in Hong Kong, the role of Hong Kong is kind of like a trading platform with they can find a wide range of services available in the market. So here we can see that there is a synergy between the GBA and Hong Kong. So for startups in Hong Kong, they can access the huge market in GBA, and as long as you can overcome the barriers and understand the language of the GBA mainland markets, so you may find a lot of opportunities in Hong Kong, as well as for the ICT sector. So if you would like to know more about our research, you can reach our research portal at research@tdc.com. So we have a lot of study on different markets, including the ASEAN markets and also the GBA markets. So this concludes my presentation and my sharing on how Hong Kong enterprises, including the ICT enterprises, look at the Hong Kong's business environment and how the environment support their development in Hong Kong. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Doris. And next presentation is titled Hong Kong Government ICT Policy, Strategies and Incentive Scheme, presented by Dr. David Chung, GP Under Secretary for Innovations and Technology, Innovation and Technology Bureau, the Government of Hong Kong. Please welcome Dr. Chung.
Hello, good morning. My name is David Chung. I'm the Secretary for Innovation and Technology Bureau. Welcome to the Hong Kong Vietnam ICT webinar. I'm going to share with you the Hong Kong SAR government on ICT policy, strategy, and incentive schemes. Speaking of Hong Kong, we are nearby Guangdong province. In a national strategy announced 2 years ago that Hong Kong is working closely with the nearby Guangdong cities, as well as Macau. This is one of the national strategy to coordinate with each other how to grow the industry together. GBA, Greater Bay Area, this region is only 1% of the land size, with about 5% of China's population, but contribute to 12% of China's GDP. And we expect this economic growth to be continued at a faster pace. Hong Kong has enjoyed tremendous economic growth. Despite the recent setback, we enjoy the China open door policy, as well as our continued investment in digital transformation. And we have won a number of awards. For example, the Digital Intelligence Index, the World Digital Competitiveness, as well as the World Economic Forum Global Competitiveness. So far, we are top 3 in the world. But we are not stopping from there. Over the years, Hong Kong has grown a lot of household name and global brand. In terms of banking sector, property sector, retail, as well as telecom. And this gives Hong Kong one of the uniqueness and strength. And our challenge is to how we can enhance the latest technology and how we can improve the competitiveness of those companies. And this is also the role of the government to keep up with the growth of digital transformation. So since the establishment of ITB, we have enhanced the innovation and technology ecosystem in Hong Kong in a number of areas. For example, we want to promote more R&D work in terms of downstream commercializations of those technology. We want to grow the technology talent pool, continue the investment in startups, investment more on the ICT infrastructure. We also have the smart city blueprint as a roadmap to grow and enhance the government e-services, and also how to enhance the industry in technology adoptions. So let me give you an example that how we can enhance the R&D cluster in Hong Kong. For example, we are working with Alibaba and also one of the latest unicorn in AI called SenseTime to set up AI lab at Hong Kong Science Technology Park. And also we are working with local and world-renowned AI institution to set up research cluster in Hong Kong, which we call AIR, AI and Robotics Research Cluster. In the past couple of years, we also continue seeing a lot of local and overseas startup has chosen Hong Kong to grow their AI industry and market. So we are seeing over 52 venture deals has been secured in the last couple of years. Technology talent is crucial for the continuous growth of innovation technology ecosystems. And that's why we are investing in future. We're growing up from the primary school all the way to universities. We put emphasis on different extracurricular activities in digital and AI, robotics, etc. We also give placement of opportunity to STEM interns, and also lately we are working on the STEM professorship, trying to attract research talent all over the world to come to join Hong Kong research work. In terms of technology talent, we also have the admission scheme. So far, over 570 overseas talent in 15 different technology areas has been secured and come to Hong Kong to help to train our local talent. ICT infrastructure, we are continuing to invest. In the last decade or so, we have established the Hong Kong Cyberport and also Science Park. And this is one of the largest R&D talent pool, and also a lot of different research lab has been established in these two research cluster. And we are also investing in the future. Lately, we announced the new science park at the Lok Ma Chau Loop area, which is three times bigger than the current Hong Kong Science Park. In terms of investment in startups, we are seeing the private institution needs more encouragement. And that's why the government has set up the Innovation Technology Venture Fund together with Science Park and Cyberport venture fund, we are continue to invest in number of different startups. And so far, we are seeing more and more venture fund has been set up in Hong Kong to invest in local startup ecosystems. And you can see from the chart that the number of startups has been created, as well as the number of deals has been increased tremendously in recent years. But this is not the entire story. We're also seeing the nearby city like Shenzhen and also Guangdong. The number of startups is also growing rapidly. So I can see a lot of these growing technology startups is expanding their businesses locally as well as regionally. So we are seeing tremendous opportunity for us to work with ICT sector in Vietnam or nearby city to help them to grow the business further. For example, we are seeing different great startups. SenseTime I mentioned earlier, and also a number of insurtech, fintech company has been growing, as well as some of the logistic company has been set up in Hong Kong, solving the last mile problem. So this is all homegrown startups that are expanding rapidly in recent years. We have published the Smart City Blueprint 1.0 back in 2017 and recently updated to 2.0, which laid down over 130 different smart city projects to help to make the government more efficiently, as well as to serving the citizen better. Some of this, we also encourage the private sector to work closely with the government to enhance the payment services, for example, as well as how we can collaborate in digital identity. All this will help Hong Kong to work harmoniously with nearby city in terms of climate challenges, as well as solving some of these congestion problems. Not only the government need to be smarter, we also encourage the SME, the small and medium enterprises, to adopt more technology to help to enhance their businesses. So that's why in last year, especially during the pandemic, we have implemented a 9-month program called Business Program to help a lot of SME to go online using the latest technology. And this program has been well accepted by a number of SME. They have set up e-commerce as well as to improve their training using remote technology. And we also have a technology voucher scheme. This is an ongoing program that helps different SME to use digital services to improve their productivity and upgrade their business operation. And in terms of 5G adoption, we also work out a pilot scheme to test out different 5G new applications I encourage more and more new startups and also telecom operators to work together with our government department and also the private sector to test out new 5G applications. All in all, we believe that technology can really help to enhance the competitiveness of different industry and also to help to further enhance the local startups companies to help them to create a local market for them, as well as to improve their product and services such that later on their product and services can be exported to different nearby cities. In the last couple of minutes, I've shared with you the INT ecosystem development in Hong Kong. I hope you enjoy it, and let's work together to make a better future for Hong Kong and Vietnam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. David Chung. And the next two presentations will talk about doing business in Vietnam from Hong Kong perspective. Please welcome the first one from Mr. Arvin Lee, CEO of Advantage Technology Limited and Chairman of ISIA, to present us about Hong Kong SI outsourcing project to Vietnam partner. And the next one, and also the last presentation today, I would like to introduce and welcome the presentation named Partnership for Hong Kong Software Company to Expand in Vietnam Market by Mr. Bill Chang, Deputy CEO and CTO International Transport Information System Limited. Please welcome two last presentations.
Hello everyone, my presentation will be in the video format. ISO 27001 and CMM. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alvin Lee. Thank you, Vanessa and Hong Kong Computer Society to invite me as a speaker to share my experience on outsourcing IT project to Vietnam. Advantage Technologies Limited is a Hong Kong system integrator founded in 1972. We have served over 1,000 customers in the past and with 150 staffs. We have achieved BSI, ISO 9001, ISO 27001, and CMMI Level 3. And we are an official partner of Microsoft and Google. before we select a, you can say, supplier and a partner in Vietnam, we have experienced outsourcing project to Taiwan and India, but both of them will fail. So therefore, this time we spend quite a lot of time to further understand the capability of a Vietnam company, including their past experience, their domain knowledge, and technology focus. And luckily, since the Vietnam company that we work with have a local presence in Hong Kong, we have selected them because that person, that Persian project manager, can play as a bridge between us and the Vietnam development team. So very short afterward, we have signed a teaming agreement, and we have outsourced a small project for them to trial. It is a fixed price project with basically it's a 3 months duration small project, which is based on our existing frontline management system, is an extension module. Therefore, we believe the complexity wouldn't be that complicated. The complexity of the project is not that much. And the objective of the project is to facilitate crane operation more effectively, to provide bay profile view, and reflect the progress in container loading without assistance from an onboard signalman. The payment schedule is based on the project milestone, and it's a fixed price project. And during the project, we have gone through a briefing requirement meeting, including business operation briefing, a system requirement walkthrough, and explain technical and business design to the local representative. So therefore, some of them is by virtual meeting and some of them is by physical meeting. For virtual meeting, we use Zoom and Team to do regular process review, and using instant message like WhatsApp and Skype to do some team communication. And our supplier deliverables, including system data flow diagram, user manual, requirement spec, system source code, and system installation and deployment guide. And our observation about this partnership is the supplier help us to reduce administrative overhead for resource management. And therefore, Armitage can focus on project deadline, business requirement, and customer lobbying. And the downside is when we work with our supplier, since the time is only 3 months, therefore, for them, they have difficulty to understand the domain of that project. And it takes us quite a lot of time to explain to them, but we believe it will improve when more projects carry on. And the other constraint is about the language, the Chinese interface. And luckily they have a Hong Kong project manager to help us to play as a bridge. And thirdly, the testing environment setting is similar to customer UAT and production environment. And we have difficulty on that, and that impact the result a little bit, mainly on the extra effort. But all in all, the software quality is acceptable, and issues mainly found only on new business requirement understanding. So therefore, to conclude, I think we will continue to outsource project to other countries, and because it can make use of our resource and give us more opportunity. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Avile. And the next presentation, please welcome Mr. Bill Chang, for the last presentation on the seminar today.
Hi. Good morning. I'm Bill Chang, the Chief Technology Officer and Deputy CEO of International Transport Information Systems, or ITIS for short. I'm glad to share with you our experience to enter Vietnam market as a Hong Kong software company. Firstly, please let me introduce ITIS. ITIS provides award-winning products which are best fit for global implementation. Our flagship product, InNOC Suite, was awarded in multiple local and regional campaigns. We received a grand award from APICTA in logistics software sector. APICTA is an ICT award organization with 16 member economies in Asia Pacific region. In addition, we received an Outstanding Software Award, COSPA, from China, and ICT Award from Hong Kong. InNOC Product Suite is an all-in-one solution for customers to operate and manage their international freight for ocean, air, with local road freight and a multi-company financial accounting system. In 2016, ITIS was invited by SAP Co-Innovation Lab to integrate InNOC with SAP Big Data-enabled platform, SAP HANA. InNOC is the first logistics software product in the world to partner with SAP Coil Lab and run on SAP HANA platform. And here is the list of ITIS self-developed products that we own the whole product intellectual property rights. The first sector, we branded them as InNOC for Global. They are elastic software products that support both single-site and multiple-site operations. It enables management to have a consolidated view of the business status of all the site offices around the globe. These products can optionally run on SAP HANA, the big data platform, to support customers' advanced data analytics needs. Air freight operation and management system manages air freight, export, and import operations. It supports chartered flight handling, which is suitable for both freight forwarders and general service agents, or GSA of airlines. Air CFS is an air cargo freight station system, which supports air cargo security screening operations mandated by ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization. An ocean freight operation and management system, and the ocean CFS system manage ocean freight export and import operations, and their freight warehousing operation. Trucking management system is for road transportation. Financial accounting operation and management system, which complies with IFRS standards. And the second segment is the Japan Advanced Filing Rule, also known as the Japan AFR. ITIS is one of the 19 Japan Customs authorized service provider around the world. Our Japan AFR products allows customers to file AFR declaration to Japan NAS system of Japan Customs directly. The last segment is the Inventory Order Management System, IOM, which is a logistics system for supply chain fulfillment. So who is using our solutions? InNOC solution has been recognized by the industry as a best practice and better product. It is being used in education in Hang Seng University and VTC, that's the Vocational Training Council in Hong Kong, as the teaching materials in a logistics degree course. We deploy InNOC as a cloud service that eliminates the technical burden to SME logistic companies, which may not have in-house technical professionals. There are over 150 customers worldwide. And these are some of our long-term customers. Some of them have used IT solutions for over 20 years and upgraded through several generations of our solutions. Currently, there are thousands of users using our solutions across 5 continents in 14 regions over the world. In Vietnam, there are 5 customers using IT solutions. We do not work alone. Our success relies on seamless collaboration with our partners. ITIS is an SAP partner for supply chain and transportation industry. Oracle, Microsoft, and HP are our partners too. And ISID is our reselling partner for the Japanese market. We are targeting to expand our customer segment in Vietnam, and we would like to recruit partners in Vietnam. So why we are interested in Vietnam market? A significant amount of global supply chains is shifting from mainland China to Vietnam. Vietnam becomes an important international freight and logistic hub since the last 10 years, and the importance is still up in the trend. The projected compound annual growth rate of Vietnamese freight and logistics industries is 7% throughout 2021 to 2026. And we have a rapid implementation templates for Inox system. This allows us to set up Inox system within 20 man days. And Inlock has embedded required global implementation, standard documentation templates, standard daily reports, monthly reports, management reports. User can easily start using our applications. And that's all I want to share with you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Bilchu. And ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the Q&A sections for further understanding about Hong Kong and Vietnamese business market, business culture, and so on. We welcome you all to have a question to our guests. So please raise your hands button or send a message to the chat box with the name of the person you want to directly the questions. We would like to answer all of your questions. And I have the first question from Vũ Yến, Vietnam, to the Hong Kong speaker. When you think of Vietnamese ICT industry, what is the largest demand of Hong Kong company? And the questions sent to Mr. Arvin Lee, CEO of Armitage Technology Limited and chairman of ISIA.
Mr. Arvin Lee, are you here?
Hi, I respond in the chat box. So basically, the question about what's the highest demands, I think in my opinion, the highest demand would be offshore outsourcing, I believe, because Vietnam has a price competitive comparing to India or other Southeast Asia country. And also the time zone is identical, almost identical to Hong Kong. And my second belief is the smart city solution. We can find Vietnam, because we can find the Vietnam local partner to as an implementator or as a partner to deploy smart city solutions in Vietnam, because Vietnam is such a big country with high population. I believe the ecosystem of smart city maybe can deploy in Vietnam as well. So that's my answer.
Linh, you are muted.
Thank you, Mr. Arvin Lee. And I have another questions from Anson Poon. How to have more product visibility and platform connection among Vietnam and Hong Kong company?
Hello, everyone. I think the question is in the chat box is not very clear enough, but I guess that you want to ask how to have more product and visible and platform connection among Vietnam and Hong Kong companies. How, right? So I think that yeah. I think yeah, we should organize more activities like this seminar and business matching, and also I think that yeah, by sharing information, by connecting via yeah, business supporting or promoting trade cooperation organization like VINASA, ISIA, or Hong Kong Computer Society, or the Hong Kong Trade Promotion Department, etc. I think that yeah, there will be much more connection activities, so that both Hong Kong company and also Vietnam companies can share the informations and also connect to each other to explore the business cooperation opportunities.
Thank you, Ms. Giang. And I have another question from Hùng Nguyễn. I guess to Mr. Arvin Lee. So choosing tech partner may be the biggest challenge when it comes to the outsourcing. What is the key factors affect Hong Kong business owners' decision to outsource?
I think the key factor is to find a partner that can reduce our communication overhead, because for our developers, if they can make their choice, of course they would like to have the team sitting next to them, like an agile team. However, if we outsource part of our service to other countries, the communication would, you can say, would deteriorate a bit. So therefore, we have to build, try to help them with technology, or try to help them to release their stress on the communication. Of course, I believe from time to time, the teaming will get more solid after more projects carry on. However, since developers, the nature of the developers they are not a natural born very strong in communication. Therefore, we have to do some lobbying and facilitation to push them to better communicate with partners outside Hong Kong. So as an owner, my objective is to reduce costs and maintain the service quality of the project, so that we can be more competitive.
Thank you, Mr. Arvin Lee. And any questions from participants? We would like to answer all of them.
I see a question from someone here. Yeah, I'm thinking of set up an IT firm or startup in Vietnam. Is there any tax discount to attract startup? I would like to invite Dr. Nguyễn Thành Tuyên. Are you there to answer this question?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, that's a question from Q&A chat box. Yeah, he asked if he want to set up a startup company or an IT here, companies in Vietnam. What kind of incentive that he can get from the government?
And I first of all would like to thank you for the question. As I presented in my slides, at the moment, the government of Vietnam would like to encourage companies which work in the high-tech park and in software areas to launch the startup projects in Vietnam. And they would get the benefit in the two schemes. First one, they would be the companies that that would start up for the new software project development, which at least have to do one of the two stages. First, determinations of requirements. It means that the requirement analysis and definitions of the software. Secondly, it's the must have the analysis and design stage for the software, so that with this requirement, they would get the preferential tax rate of 10% for 15 years since the project starts, and then get the tax exemption in the first 4 years, and 50% reduction of payable tax in the next 9 years. And for secondly, they can consider to set up their business in the high-tech parks or IT or software park in Vietnam. And at the moment, we have 3 high-tech parks, one in Hòa Lạc near Hanoi, one in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, and the third one in Da Nang. And we also have 6 IT parks in Hanoi, Da Nang, and Ho Chi Minh City. And for those companies who work in these parks would get the highest incentive in terms of law on land, corporate income tax, value-added tax, and export and import tax. And they also could get the support from the National High-Tech Development Program and other funds. And they can enjoy other incentives in the park, such as the infrastructure, land use levy, land lease, and so on. And you can see that for companies who in Vietnam, they will get very good pool of IT human resource. We have a year 50,000 newly graduated people in the IT area who are very talented and enjoy of hardworking and eager to learn and work in competitiveness environment. Thank you. So I would like to welcome you to set up your business there in Vietnam. And I would like to say that the procedure to set up a new company in Vietnam as the symbol. So we need to contact to the provincial department of the planning and investments and department of IT in the province to get the further guidance.
Yes, and I also would like to input more information is that in Vietnam, normally the corporate tax in other industry will be here 25%. But if you are working in the software business, we are doing business in software. So the first 4 years, as Dr. Thuyen already mentioned, will be here free of incoming corporate tax, and also other years will be 10%. So you can see the difference between the 10% and 25%. So that is the very good incentive from the government to attract investors from other countries to invest in Vietnam in this area. So hope to answer well your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Nguyễn Thành Trung. Thank you, Mr. Nguyễn Thành Tuyên and Mr. Zhang. And any other questions from participants? Okay, so I think it's quite clear from the information from the speakers. So due to the time limitations, so we would like to end up the meeting here. So should you have any further issues, you can contact Vinasa to connect with our speaker later after this meeting via email at contact@vinasa.org.vn or my email linktd@vinasa.org.vn. On behalf of Vinasa, Hong Kong Computer Society and Hong Kong TDC, I would like to say thank you to all the speakers and distinguished guests to give a wonderful information for Hong Kong and Vietnam ICT market. I hope that you will have the better point of view and you will soon have the action plan and long-term cooperations in Vietnam and Hong Kong also. Thank you very much for your participation and wish you all the good health. Thank you and goodbye. See you soon.
Goodbye. See you.
Present enhancing security and bridging China with the world.